Christmas, toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. Sure, it's
And
Christmas.
well, the song is pretty right. It is starting to look a lot like Christmas. Maybe not quite in sunny Singapore or rather rainy Singapore right now, but just before Christmas, we still have one more event to go, and that is the Piers 91 Pitch Arena at Switch. So, good evening, friends. Welcome to the Piers 91 Pitch Arena at Switch. My name is Ning. I'm the program manager at Piers 91, and we are very excited today, this evening, to present five startups who will share the latest development and exciting developments they have, and what a way to end the year too. To our friends that are new to Peer 71, Port Innovation Ecosystem Reimagined at Block 71 is a program that is co-founded by the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, MPA, as well as the National University of Singapore via NUS Enterprise. At Pure 71, we are interested and we always welcome tech founders, tech teams, startups, corporates, investors, and many other players that are interested to advance the transformation of the maritime industry. Now, today, every team will get 10 minutes to share their ideas as well as time to take your questions. So please use the Q&A function that is found at the bottom of your screen if you have any questions for any of the teams that are speaking today. And without further ado, I'd like to invite Transmetrics from Bulgaria.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having us here. It is a great pleasure for all of us to be presenting. Thank you for organizing it. My name is Karolina Kolova, and I'm very happy to have this chance. I work as sales representative at Transmetrics. But what's Transmetrics? Transmetrics is the AI platform that redefines logistics by helping logistics professionals make more data-driven and informed decisions. Our main purpose is to revolutionize the logistics industry by implementing the latest technology in the developments of AI, machine learning, and data science. What motivates us most is solving challenges and issues, and in logistics, there are a lot of inefficiencies. According to statistics, everyone in 5 trucks driving in the EU is empty. Everyone in 3 containers globally is shipped empty. 65% of the time, logistics assets are staying idle. And in order to solve this issue, we first need to ask the question, where is it coming from? This comes as a result because logistics companies are still planning their resources in Excel spreadsheets based on the subjective experience and the gut feelings of the planners. And here is exactly where Transmetrics can help. We are a software as a service solutions, and we offer everything into one solution. So we connect to your TMS system or ERP system, whatever system our customers are using, and we extract the data. After that, we clean the data, we analyze the data, and we are able to make predictions and optimizations so that the logistics professionals can make more data-driven decisions in the end. The Transmetrics value chain, it is different than the traditional value chains. But first, let's look at what we have in the traditional methods. We have a planner, we have the systems, and then we have a lot of processes that are done by the operational team. And all of them are actually done manually, like, for example, analyzing the data, estimating the capacity, analyzing the network, and doing the planning itself. Because of the reason that those processes are done manually, a lot of inefficiency may appear. For example, the operational team might be spending a lot of time doing the stuff manually, and this is a lot of time confusing. It can also lead to having some kind of mistakes. For example, some data may be recorded at 2 places or in several places throughout the different spreadsheets. With Transmetrics, it is all different. We still leave the decision The decision is still made by the planner, by the decision-making team, and we connect to your system, to the TMS system, for example. We extract the data, and after this, it is all seen in one system, all of the reports and everything. The repetitive work is done by AI, and with the help of our data science team, AI and machine learning algorithms. They're doing the repetitive work like estimating the capacity, analyzing all the possible options, etc. And then the decision makers really have the time to concentrate on things that matter. The platform of Transmetrics is really built for the future. We are single code based. We are built in-house. We build our own software from day one. We do not outsource anything. This is why our customer support is on a very high level. We are very secure. We are certified by ISO, so your data is in safe hands with us. And we are also very precise. We are powered by IBM's high performance machine learning algorithm, IBM Watson. In addition, we are very adaptive. We can adapt to the changing industry standards or to any changing situation in the future, because we know that logistics is an industry that never stops moving. But how is exactly our system working? First of all, we connect to the TMS or ERP systems of our customers, and we extract the data, historical data. For example, like transport schedule, orders and bookings, cost, etc. However, we also take into account external data like customer forecasts, public holidays, events like Chinese New Year, etc. And after we take all this data, the historical one and the external data, we analyze it. And with the help of AI, we actually clean it and improve its quality. In the end, what our customers get is a predictive optimization. We forecast demand very accurately. After this, we suggest the most optimal storage, resupply, and maintenance strategy for the assets. Our impact is actually huge. First of all, we make the logistics industry as general more appealing to all of the people. We also reduce carbon dioxide emissions with the optimization of resources. And last but not least, of course, we bring a lot of benefits to our customer. We achieve over 10% efficiency gain and double the margins. We work with different customers. For example, we work with shipping clients. We also work with groupage and parcel companies, with last mile delivery companies. Some of our customers are DHL, Kyonenago, DPD, DB Schenker, Nile Dutch, and we are currently expanding our portfolio of customers. The good thing about Transmetrics is that we are able to adapt to the needs of our customers precisely and to custom our products exactly for and specifically for them. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Hope everything's well with Transmetrics in Bulgaria. Well, to our audience, if you have any questions, please drop them at the Q&A function. Otherwise, I'm just going to start with my first question. Okay, Carolina, maybe if you could, just explain one of the maybe use case with one of your earlier customers on using Transmetrics. Maybe if you could paint a picture for us, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So for example, I can explain about working with container shipping clients and what we are doing for them. For example, container shipping clients, they're storing a lot of assets because they're empty repositioning strategies. The repositioning of empty containers are usually done manually. But our brains cannot calculate all of the possible options, how these empty containers can be relocated in the more utilized way so that we can take advantage of all of the assets that they have. So what we actually do, we take all of the data, as I mentioned, for example, even the storage costs and also the maintenance costs, because our software is able to calculate exactly the demand of the containers. For example, how many containers of which type will be needed in each port. And because of this, for example, our customers know, okay, maybe in this port, I don't need so many containers. So I need to lower the safety cushion, because usually container shipping clients, they are piling up a lot of containers to make sure they will meet demand. But with our software, when it can calculate the demand, they can for example, decided on this port, they would not need such a big number of containers, and they can relocate them to another port where they will be more needed because of the customer demand. Yeah, as a result, the reduction in storage cost is very high. We have like up to 30% reduction in storage costs with clients just using our product. And yeah.
Great. We have actually a question about the business model. So what kind of business model does Transmetric adopt?
So basically, when we start working with a customer, we first have 3 to 4 months or 5 months, depending on the client itself, of implementation of the product. In this phase, we basically spend a lot of time with our customers. We have a lot of online meetings in which we are getting their data. Once we get the data, it can be in any format. Our data science team is analyzing it, and then we are actually implementing the product, working with the product. And then after 3 or 4 months, the product is ready to be implemented. So then we have like a SaaS subscription, SaaS fee that's paid every month. And the product goes live in, maybe 3 to 4 months after the implementation phase is done. And after this, by the way, the more our customers are using the product, the more smarter the product gets, the software, because AI is learning all the time. So in 2 to 3 years to 4 years, the results and the accuracy is even higher.
All right. We do have one question. It's a little bit more technical, but we have about a minute left, so you have to keep it short. And this question is, what is the specific algorithms that you have used for demand prediction?
For the demand forecast? Well, basically, to do that, as I mentioned, we first need the data, which we extract from the TMS, for example. And then this data, with the help of our data science team, mathematicians, and everybody else in this great team of Transmetrics, they're using and translating the data. If you expect me to say a data standard, or your data format, maybe I'll need to connect you to the IT team, because they're really the experts in that sphere. But yeah, our algorithms after this can do that and can do the demand forecasting.
Okay, thank you so much. I will just take one final question, all right?
Yeah.
There's this question about how many man hours do your customers have to make available on average before the product can be launched? So I guess before it can be used by the customers.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's very much. I mean, we have like weekly meetings, 1 to 2 hours, for example, or something like this with some of the people in the planning team. It's not that much. It's just that at the beginning we need the data. And in the beginning, because before we start the implementation, we have like workshops in which we are showing a demo, because we want to make sure that we understand the needs of our customers. But it's not too much. Like what's your
average onboarding period then?
Well, let's say maybe 3 hours per week, 2 hours per week. Depends on
how many months.
It's for the first 2 months, not more, so that they get used to using the system actually.
All right. So I guess if there's anybody that's interested, Carolina has the contact details as shown just now. So
okay.
Yeah. So you can contact.
Yeah, I would be happy to answer more of your questions when you have more time.
I would be happy to, but then we're running out of time. So for the questions that are coming in, we will try to get back to you after the event.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Thank you so
very much. Thank you.
This is going on a very fast pace, so I'm going to welcome the next startup called ENT-Vision.
Hello, thanks, Ning. Let me share my screen. Okay, so today I'll be sharing ENT-Vision Smart Data for Maritime solution. So at ENT-Vision, we help our clients move and match data with ENT-Vision Solution Suite with 3 horizontal solutions, being Smart Data, Smart Logistics, Smart Transport, and 2 vertical solutions, Smart Data for Maritime and Smart Data for Mines. On the challenge faced in the maritime logistics industry, the maritime ship supplies and delivery logistics are highly competitive trades. This is due to the vessel short order fulfillment cycle and also the narrow loading window time. So the current RFQ process is extremely label intensive and prone to errors. And there's also the time pressure of short order fulfillment, where suppliers receive RFQ from various vessels through email or e-commerce platform 24/7. So in addition, data silo order processing results in an underutilized resource logistics. So at ENT-Vision, we look at how can we automate the process of providing quotation to customer. So for the current process, suppliers receive RFQ via email or third-party platform. The staff then manually key in information to generate the quotation. Staff then send the quotation to the customers and enter the quotation to the company's own system. Now with ENT-Vision solution, we aim to automate quotation receiving process and also standardize the RFQ entry format with an intelligent content and item extraction. We also intelligently match, rank, recommend the products, and also analyze vessel arrival specification and offer the appropriate products and alternative for quotation. The quotation will then be automatically generated and sent to the customer. And our solution also analyzes the purchase history to provide and send a replacement notification and automatically update the quotation into the system. So ENT-Vision AI-driven RFQ and quotation management system is a platform that is empowered by natural language processing and machine learning to provide a consistent data quality for quotation management. At the first phase, when there's an incoming RFQ for email or web in different format and file type, the RFQ is automatically extracted and the data are being standardized, and products in the RFQ are matched to the company's list with AI. So for phase 2, there's a back-end integration of RFQ to sales order and also the product inventory, AIS system integration that tracks the arrival time of the vessel, and also a predictive analysis of sales. The core technology that drives the solution is ENT-Vision's Intelligent Process Automation, IPA for short. It combines robotic process automation and AI. So the feature of IPA can be broken down into 3 stages. Firstly, automated standardization of irregular data and integrate data from incoming RFQ, transforming them from free text to a structured format. Secondly, an intelligent context extraction with natural language processing and the rule-based algorithm, which recognize patterns and characteristics of a text at attribute level. And thirdly, we do an intelligent matching and recommendation, where IPA matches the product in RFQ to inventory, coupled with an intelligent multi-level ranking criteria to make a sound recommendation for the quotation. So at the data standardized phase, we aim to enrich source data with a single data definition, which are then stored and used for analysis. The inputs are then broken down to attribute levels for matching. So if there's sample illustration, IPA looks at text and is able to recognize key information and classify them based on their respective attributes as shown in the red text. So models are created from impact catalog and company product lists that recognize the different attribute values and the attribute names. So I'd like to show a short demo video of how IPA recognize product and do document processing.
ENT-Vision Intelligent Process Automation for Maritime Ship Supplies RFQ. Product Search and Document Processing. With a maritime provision model, intelligent process automation is a combination of robotic process automation and artificial intelligence, a smart robot that is able to find a close match of a product from a product list based on the product description in a RFQ. Using natural language processing and rule-based algorithm, we recognize patterns and characteristics at the attribute level of the input and do a scoring to find the closest match. To simulate a product description in an RFQ, let's search fresh vegetables. IPA matching algorithm will find the closest match of the product from your company inventory list. When product description provides more attributes, for instance, bitter gourd, our model match score increases, showing the product matched from the company list from the RFQ product description. Your RFQ may include word alternatives such as ampalaya. And here our system recognizes word alternative. Another intelligent feature of IPA is the ability to identify weight range. When the weight provided in the product description is within your company product range, IPA is smart enough to match to the closest product. IPA is also intelligent enough to identify when text is a unit of measure with no specific product category or item. For document processing, here are two sample RFQ with two different formats where the company details, quantity and unit are in different position. Simulating IPA, automatically reading an RFQ, IPA is able to extract the key information such as company name, vessel IMO, reference number, delivery date and match the item in the RFQ to your company inventory list. With a different RFQ, IPA is also able to extract the information with natural language processing and match the product by looking at the text at an attribute. ENT-Vision Intelligent Process Automation. ENT-Vision Intelligent Process.
Okay, so with that, ENT-Vision aims to move maritime industry forward with our smart data for maritime solution with this benefit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. Sorry, we do have one question.
Okay.
Do customers have to purchase a new system or can this be integrated with the existing ones?
Depending on what do you mean by new system? Which system are you referring to?
So how can the customers use this, I guess? Can it be integrated with whatever existing platforms that you're using, or how did it get started?
Okay, it can definitely be integrated through API. So depending on your system, if let's say company has their own company ERP system, we can also link up the different modules through API. So you don't have to replace your entire company system just to adopt an ENT-Vision solution. The unique selling point of our IPA platform is that it's able to plug and play. So depending on which module you are referring to, because when you mention system, if it's your own company ERP system, you can connect through IPA. Oh, sorry, API, sorry.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we have more questions coming in? I think we do. I thought I saw one just now. Can't find it right now, but never mind. In this case, I don't know. Is this something that's new? You guys newly built this, or has this been adopted by any of the customers in the maritime industry already?
So we have a deployment project with one of the maritime companies that specialize in maritime equipment in Singapore. So what we do is we help them automate their RFQ process. So when customers sends them a request for quotation via email, we help to automatically extract the key information and kind of match it back to their inventory and their product, looking at what products do they have, and then generate a quotation from there based on what the customer is asking. Yeah.
All right. So what other customers are you looking for? So maybe for those that are listening in right now, if it, maybe it could remind them that, hey, this is something that I need. Okay.
So definitely one is the maritime industry. We also look at companies that generally generate a request for quotation, or it can work in the opposite. So when a request for quotation, if let's say they want to send out a request for quotation, so the opposite can work as well.
All right. Well, I guess that's all the time we have today for ENT-Vision. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ning.
Thank you. Next up, we have another company that's a little bit different. Well, they deal with hardware a little bit more, and they are F-Drones, and they recently announced a very interesting and exciting development where they completed the first night delivery to a vessel. So I'd like to invite F-Drones to share with us a little bit more about their recent developments. Yeshan, please.
Hi, Ning. Would you be able to allow me to share my video?
Yes. Would you like to turn on your video first?
It says host has disabled it.
Oh, is it? Let's just check quickly. All right.
In the meantime, I can
share screen, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll start off, Ning?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, thank you. I'm Yeshwan, and I'm a co-founder at F-Drones. And we we are a Singapore-based startup building drones for last mile deliveries in maritime space. And when you think of the maritime space, unlike deliveries that are being made over land, there are limited options in delivering items to vessels that are anchored away from the shore, or even for delivering items to other offshore platforms. Companies opt for either small launch boats like this, or helicopters, and there are about 2.5 million trips that are being made each year in delivering these supplies. This picture perfectly depicts the situation in Singapore and how hundreds of these deliveries are being made every day. Hiring a launch boat or a helicopter is very expensive, and on the other hand, they are quite slow and they are manpower intensive as well, and they emit a lot of carbon dioxide. And drones can definitely revolutionize how items are delivered over waters. And on a first thought, it may seem quite straightforward too. Now, the problem is existing drones, they cannot deliver meaningful loads over long distances, and they cannot autonomously land on ships that are rocking at sea. And through a lot of innovation in aircraft design and extensive efforts on multiple subsystems, we are building electric drones which can autonomously deliver 100 kiloloads over 100 kilometers, and we can help save 80% in the costs, time, and manpower for maritime and shipping companies. And our patent pending design allows us to lift 20 times more load than any typical delivery drone, and yet we are able to fly further. While we plan to complete building the heavy payload drone only by mid-2022, what we've been able to do over the last 6 months or so is use a subscale drone to deliver packages weighing less than 5 kilograms to vessels, and we have become the first company in Singapore to obtain a beyond visual line of sight drone delivery permit. It's essentially a permit that allows us to do these delivery operations using drones to vessels, and we are now doing drone deliveries to vessels that belong to some of the world's largest shipping companies. And delivering items such as bunker fuel samples, medicines, spare parts, documents, cash, and all kinds of items which we can categorize as small packages. And these are the areas where we are delivering within now. There are about 7 anchorages in there, holding hundreds of vessels every day. I'd like to quickly show how we are doing these deliveries today through this video. I'm not sure if it's streaming smoothly, but yeah, like you can see, this was one of the deliveries that we've made. This is an oil tanker, which shows how much we've advanced in terms of our operating procedures, technology, the reliability of it. Because when you consider oil tankers, they are quite sensitive in terms of the safety aspects. Even someone with a mobile phone is not allowed to walk through the deck. So yeah, we have over time built quite stringent standard operating procedures. We take off from shore. We, of course, like you can see here, we can land in a small space. Of course, we're landing on a helipad here, but we can land in quite congested spaces as well. And the crew can quite easily take any of the items that are being sent from the shore. And also they can send back items such as bunker fuel samples or any other documents or any other items that need to be sent back from on board the vessel to back to the shore. So yeah, I'll probably stop the video here, just being mindful of the time. So, an exciting milestone apart from that we achieved a couple of months ago is to obtain permits to operate during night. It's quite not so common, or it's not the general practice of regulatory authorities to approve nighttime deliveries or nighttime operations for that matter. And we have obtained such a permit that allows us to operate 24 hours a day. And with that, we became the first in the world to commence 24/7 commercial drone delivery operations. And maybe here is a quick look at the delivery operation during night that we did really recently. It is quite challenging, with all the limitations in visibility and whatnot, and infrastructure. We had to adopt our SOPs and technology standards a lot, and at the same time undertake heavy training exercise for our pilots to be able to pull off such operations. And I guess the milestone itself speaks for itself, because we are now the only, we're the first company to start commercial operations 24/7. Yeah, you can see that the vessel was barely visible, and yet we are able to, at least for now, semi-autonomously complete the whole operation. And any vessel that is standing, let's say, 5 kilometers away from the shore, a to and fro journey takes about 20 minutes. As opposed to a few hours when we are talking about a launch boat or such options. Yeah, and we've been covered by media from over 20 countries over the past few months because of some of the milestones that we've achieved. And this has definitely provided us with a great organic traction, I would say. And we are now expanding to a few initial target ports, which are and some of the ports that we've chosen are quite similar to Singapore in their port infrastructure, how their port works, and some of the costs that they are incurring to deliver these items in their ports. And we hope that within the next 12 months, we should be operational in at least 2 to 4 ports commercially beyond Singapore. And our vision is to create a large network of ports where we provide drone deliveries, and our customers would be able to opt for our solution wherever their vessels travel to around the world, to whatever port their vessels are traveling to. And I guess that's all I have. Thank you for your time and the opportunity. I'll be happy to take any questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Immediately, we do have one question. Someone's asked, how much lead time is required to get a delivery via drones organized?
Sure. In fact, right now we are requesting our customers a couple of hours of, basically 2 hours of heads up. That's because we don't have a permanent base we are operating from Marina South Pier in Singapore, and we don't have a permanent base over there where our operators stay, say 24/7 or something like that. So if the 2 hour heads up is just because since we are doing these deliveries, very few deliveries per day today because of some of the developments that we are doing. The heads up is mainly for the operators to travel to MSP. But otherwise, if our operators are already at MSP, if we have once we have a permanent base, which might happen quite soon, the heads up is required is probably, it's almost instantaneous. We are airborne within 5 minutes of receiving a package. Even today, so yeah, it should be quite smooth. We need not require any heads up per se.
What is the process like? For example, I have something to be delivered, right? Let's just keep it simple. It's a non-dangerous good. Let's say documents.
Right.
So I call you up, and in 5 minutes, I deliver it to you at Marina South Pier or wherever it is, and then after you pick it up, and 5 minutes later, you can get it delivered. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So right now we are also, since we are at an early stage, we are also giving an option for our customers wherein we go to their office or wherever the warehouse is, and we pick up the item, bring it back to MSP, and we deliver from the MSP itself. But if a customer, some of the customers choose to come to, or deliver the item to MSP directly. And once we have the item in our hands, let's say it's not a prohibited item, we are literally airborne within 5 minutes. And usually if the vessel is 5 kilometers away, we are landing within 7 minutes on the vessel. So that's how quick the process is. But going forward, I can definitely imagine a situation maybe in 1-2 years from now, a customer need not even travel to MSP, or even we need not travel to their office over land. So we expect a situation where the drones are directly landing on top of the buildings and back to the vessel. So that would be the real value add we would bring in the future.
I see. Okay, well, that's great. I was just reading the news today, right? That was saying that we might get air taxis in the future in Singapore. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Maybe just one final question. Someone's asked, in 2022, you will be able to handle payloads of 100 kg, right? And what limits of payloads do you see for the next 5-10 years beyond that?
Sure. In fact, I guess the real limitation for us is, I mean, with the kind of aircraft design that, I mean, we have a provisional patent on very unique aircraft design. And with that kind of design, I guess the limitation is not really on how much we can lift. The more propulsion power we have, I mean, technically speaking, the more propulsion power we have, the more we can lift. But the problem with the industry that we are working in, let's say if we want to be able to land on a vessel, the real limitation is the size of the aircraft that we can extend to. I mean, ultimately we cannot have an aircraft which is beyond, say, 8 meters, maybe 10 meters, and yet land safely on a vessel. So I guess we've already hit a sweet spot. 100 kilograms is what we expect to be at for the next 5 years, at least for the maritime industry. Definitely, we would like to expand to other industries like mining, logistics, and other places. We would like to, of course, increase the payload capability to beyond 200, 250 kilometers, or 250 kilograms as well in the future. But again, that depends on the data that we can get from those industries. What is a sweet spot? And in the maritime space, we think 100 kilograms is such a sweet spot because 20% of all the deliveries that are being made across all ports to vessels that are anchored, 20% of all those deliveries, they weigh less than 100 kilograms. So that's what we want to capture.
All right, thank you. Thank you for letting us know about that. Thank you so much, F Drones.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, in the interest of time, I'll have to invite the next startup up. I know we have more questions that came in for F Drones, so we'll have it answered after the event. And the next up, we have Mua. So Yunsil, if you could turn on your video camera, we're ready for you whenever you are. Ready.
Okay. I'll share screen. Right. Right. Hello, everybody. My name is Yunsil, CEO and co-founder of MOA. We create AI solution for detecting cargo misdeclaration. So misdeclared cargoes are the leading cause of the cargo fires that's been happening. In 2020, we've been seeing one cargo fire every 2 weeks, and 92% of time it's caused by misdeclared dangerous goods. So we have looked at the really big ones in Lebanon and also a lot of vessel fire that's been happening. So with the studies from the National Cargo Bureau, we found out that about 55% of all cargoes are misdeclared, and out of that, 10% of the entire cargo are misdeclared dangerous goods. So putting that into a context of numbers, we're looking at 1.3 million of misdeclared cargoes boxes that are in the waters today. And with that awareness in mind, with other shipping companies implementing solutions, they have found that over 1,000 hits per day of misdeclared dangerous cargoes that they need further inspections. So how we look to solve this problem is to create an AI solution that helps to detect based on the external database that we have on detecting the behavioral patterns of the misdeclared dangerous goods, and also combining them with your patterns of how you then list and narrow down the urgency of them to be inspected further. So we do both digitalization and AI machine learning training through the deep learning, data acquisition, and all these pre-processing that we can walk through later if there are further questions. So what we hope to achieve with this solution is to find the spot of misdeclared dangerous goods that require further inspection, because they're especially dangerous because they're either having in large quantity or they have propensity to be highly explosive or flammable. So out of all the cargoes that we process, we look at the misdeclared goods, and out of that, we try to detect the dangerous goods that are misdeclared intentionally by the shippers, which are estimated to be about 600 containers per vessel. So what we provide is a rating system for dangerous goods. We take in a number of factors into taking account and deriving the percentage of likelihood of the misdeclared DG. So we use the chemical name, which is which shippers often may use alternative name either in its format. So for example, we have calcium hypochlorite, which is often misdeclared as detergent or organic surface, usually in the name that they use the chemical used for. Then we also look look at the country of origin because we find that in certain countries where there are more, we see the more exports of the dangerous chemicals that are misdeclared, let's say in the regions of South America versus the US ports. Then we also look at the quantity limitation to see what are the quantity that we should be looking at depending on the danger level and flammability of the dangerous goods. And also we look at the mismatch of information that are submitted by different stakeholders or when they're going through the booking portal to see are the purchase order, shipping documents, or any transshipment documents that have mismatch of information, which should also lead to be a sign of any misdeclared dangerous goods. And lastly, we look at the human processing. So how we define is in often cases where you have the DG inquiry desks, you have someone working there processing these documents and having a certain action taken on to certain wards. So for example, in the region, Southeast Asia region here, we see a lot of charcoal that's being misdeclared as different types of woods or different types of furniture, goods, or things like that. So there are certain behavioral patterns that we see depending on the regions and the type of goods. And we capture these behavioral patterns and put it into our database so that it becomes more accurate and applicable to the shipments that you acquire per shipping companies. So our database it combines a number of sources for defining the danger level of each chemicals. So first, we derive the list from the dangerous good list from the regulatory sources. And second, we derive data from other external safety rating agencies, such as the National Fire Protection Association, where they have information such as the boiling point, flash point, all these different chemical information that we combine together to assess in our priority record of how dangerous all these chemicals are. Then finally, we use the deep learning as part of our AI to derive different values of weight that we give to different types of the variables that we see per shipment. So we're combining all this together. We derive a percentage where it could be 90% misdeclared DG that you should look further into and core into. And if there comes to be a wrong value, then we study these error values to ensure that there is a higher accuracy with the more usage of our database and our AI. So finally, apart from implementing the AI solution to automate the process and save time, we also provide reports and dashboarding. So what it essentially does is creates a new business value for detecting this misdeclaration and also see the patterns of how your shippers and customers are acting. So first, we give you the alerting list for commonly misdeclared goods, depending on the region, supports of import and export. Then we also are also able to provide you a blacklist of rogue shippers who often intentionally misdeclare. So you are able to red flag certain shippers that you're dealing with and to look into them more closely. And this blacklist is also a huge benefit being in that because of the privacy law, there's no regulatory agency that's able to provide you with the list. With the list, is really it helps to essentially minimize the risk. And finally, we do a risk assessment based on the number of misdeclaration. So as I mentioned earlier, with other shipping company that has adopted such solution, they have seen about 1,000 hits a day. So we look at the number of hits that you're seeing with likely misdeclared DGs, and with that we combine the danger level so that you can do a risk assessment. How many of the shipments out of the total shipment cargoes that we're shipping that are we dealing with potential misdeclared DGs, and should we be supplementing more manpower, and what are the actions to be taken with the data set that we get from using our AI solution? So this is our development plan. So first we start with data acquisition, where we connect with the legacy system. Then we do a quality assessment to see whether their data sufficient. In this step, this is highly important because we then help to improve the quality of the end outcome of our machine learning training. Then we go through the normal supervised machine learning training. In the end, we did deployment and integration. And also we can look into further other use cases that you could get, such as country of origin or GSTs or custom declarations that you would also like to extract besides the misdeclared dangerous goods that you would like to detect from our solution. So here is our team. I'm CEO, and I've worked in one of the leading shipping, construction, and maritime disputes law firm in Singapore. And our CTO Josiah is our National Youth Entrepreneurship Award winner. And we have our tech advisor, who has been in the industry of the IT innovation space for over 20 years and is currently lecturing at maritime universities in Baltics. So that concludes our presentation. I think we're quite right on time. So we can move on to the question and answers if I think I kind of rushed it.
Right, we do have a few questions, but we don't have much time. So you're gonna have to answer it very briefly.
Yeah.
All right, so can you share where you're at right now?
All right, so we are at this, currently we have our external database that basically does a scan through. So we have a couple of thousand of external, those alternative name chemical use that we can help to detect. And once we do that, and once we see the match with your internal system, then we supplement this database. So currently we are at the stage of, we're ready to do implementation. It's just, it just takes a bit of integration work and a lot of data quality assessment and visualization work before actually deploying the solution.
All right, and there's another question on whether this solution can handle different ship and cargo types, for example, containers versus tankers versus bulk.
Pardon, sorry?
Whether the solution is able to handle different kinds of vessels and cargo types, for example, container versus maybe bulk.
Right. Currently, we're focusing mainly on containers because there are different types of documents that are required for container shipping. So currently, we are focused more on the dry container shipping.
Okay. I think that's all the time we have. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have our final team or startup, and that is Aviation Virtual. So I'd like to invite Shilong to share what they're doing currently.
Yep, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yep, okay, let me start. Hi, I'm Chi Leong from Aviation Virtual, a Singapore-based VR solution company. Now, talk is actually on how to transform inspection and training. So, just hang on. Oops, sorry, freeze. Right, okay. Imagine if you can actually increase the training effectiveness, training mandates, safety awareness, safety compliance, and as well as productivity. At the same time, if you can reduce the time for training, the time for for repairs, as well as time for checking and inspection, and the need for specialists to do checking, as well as at the same time reduce the cost of poor quality. This all seems like wishful thinking, but it is not blue sky, because we have actually helped 3 companies over the last 1 year to make this a reality. Hong Lam Marine, we actually put in place for them a VR solution for training to increase safety awareness in confined space. Another familiar name is Samcop Marine. We actually created for them a VR and AR training solution for oil tanker conversion to help the workers install the containers, which leads them to secure the contract. Then finally, we have SD Marines. Well, it's a very different challenge. And what we've done is that we've actually used augmented reality to help them do block placement. So what was interesting is that all 3 companies demonstrated what was then possible with our solution. While in all these 3 stories, it seems that everyone is working on vessels with complex and expensive equipment, and they need training to use them to be safe to work on, as well as checking to make sure the conditions are good for operations. Otherwise, they lose both time and money. So what if you could train on the vessel without stopping the vessel? Or what if you could actually do inspection of the vessel without being on board of the vessel? And we actually made it possible. So we start by capturing reality. This is actually done using a scanner. It does not require any special training. It's a normal smartphone that we use. Walk around the space and the scanner basically will capture all the 3D shapes around you. And then what we do is that we capture whatever we capture, we could actually create a 3D model where someone could move around it. But it is more than just a replica of the real world. We've actually made part of it functionable so that you could actually do something like a model, behave like a model. So when you add this information, what is good is that someone who is actually doing the training can do it anywhere in the world. All they need is just a pair of virtual reality glasses, like what you see on the right side. Right, and so basically what you do is just three-step, capture the real reality, visualize it as 3D models, and then use it either for training or for inspection. And this is actually quite a big market because we found that there were about 53,000 vessels. So there are many opportunities for training and for inspection across ship owners, operators, the port authorities, as well as the repair yards. And the way we're going to tackle the market is actually to directly sell the solution to the ship owners and operators, or even indirectly provide the software to training colleges so that they can actually train people where they are. This is our team. We have actually brought together someone who really understands the technological requirement to make it work, an expert in pedagogy, as well as an expert in system integration. And this application really goes beyond training and inspection. So take the case of that I've written here. Imagine that your ship is somewhere out at sea and you have to do a decision whether when preventive maintenance gives indication you need to change the turbocharger. It is a $500,000 investment, and a lot of contractors will be involved the next time the ship comes into port. Well, contractors have never been to their ship, and then the team back in the office who are making the decision to okay the investment have also not been on the ship. So imagine if you could actually get them to see the equipment, what it looks like today, and also what it looks like a few years ago, to see the deterioration, and then be able to then justify the investment decision. And so once you decide to go ahead with the investment, you could even bring people on board to look at all this process before the ship even come on board. So this would actually reduce the time taken to change a turbocharger from probably 3 days to down to just 1 day, and the cost saving is actually tremendous. Right. This is then, we see this as an exciting opportunity, and we actually welcome everyone who understands the sector to work with us to build the opportunity and also help us to source for working capital. Well, thank you so much for listening. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, sorry, I made a blunder. I forgot to unmute myself. So I just want to let everyone know that if you have any questions, you can drop them into the Q&A using the Q&A function. Otherwise, you can drop them on the chat and have it sent to me directly as well. So Chidong, what's next for Aviation Virtual? Someone's asked.
What's next? Okay, our solution is ready to go. So we have actually been talking to 2 clients. One is actually Keppel, the other one is Zbon, and one is actually a vessel which we are going to do the VR solution for both inspection and for training. And for the Keppel, we are actually going to help them look at dock operations using our solution.
So what other kinds of customers are you looking for? So, just in case we have those listening in, and then they can go,
what kind of companies?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's anyone who needs this solution, because we see this solution is applicable across all industries, not just the maritime. It's just a fast way to make VR models and for you to then use the VR models for various applications.
Someone's asked, is there heavy investments going into this, using this kind of solution instead of the usual ones?
The investments. Sorry, I didn't quite understand the question.
Yeah, so it's like, is there a lot of heavy investments going into using this kind of solution versus the current status quo?
Answer is no, because a lot of the investment has been absorbed by our early customers. We've actually done most of the development using those projects. And so what they do now is actually incremental customization to meet their applications. Yeah.
And this is a very interesting question. So how complex is the use, or how much training is required for crews to learn to use this?
An hour of training, that's all. We download the app into their smartphones. You can either use your own smartphone, or we can provide the device, and then we teach them how to do the scanning and then how to actually bring it into a software to put it all together.
And another question, I guess this one is, are you creating a 3D model using 360-degree photos?
No, 360 is not interactive. It's a pure point cloud and photogrammetry. So this is the only way you could actually interact with all the different parts and bring out all the functionality. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think that's all we have today. So thank you so much, Chi Leong, for sharing. And that's really a wrap for us today. So thank you for your time and enthusiasm. It's been a pleasure to host you, and we wish everyone a healthy and Merry Christmas wherever you are. And this is going to be the final event that Peer 71's holding. So, but be sure to come back because we'll have more lineup next year. And of course, we'll see you again next year. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.